Good evening and thank you for joining me on Black News Tonight. I'm Mark Lamont Hill. Today was day 7 in the trial of 3 former Minneapolis police officers involved in the death of George Floyd. Defense attorneys questioned Dr. Andrew Baker, the chief medical examiner who ruled Floyd's death was a homicide. Baker says he told prosecutors after Floyd's autopsy that there was no physical evidence that he died from insufficient oxygen. He also said that although heart disease and drug use were factors in Floyd's death, they were not the main cause. Baker went on to say that Floyd's encounter with police caused his heart and his lungs to stop. The former officers, J. Alexander Kung, Thomas Lane, and Tao Thao, are accused of violating Floyd's civil rights by not providing him with medical care. Questioning of potential jurors has been delayed for the trial of former Kentucky police officer Brett Hankison. Hankison is one of 3 officers involved in the deadly raid that killed Breonna Taylor. He has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of wanton endangerment for shooting into the apartment of Taylor's neighbors. BNC's Ansar Hassan has more.
On the night of March 13, 2020, officers were serving a no-knock warrant at Taylor's home as part of a series of raids targeting a drug dealer and former boyfriend of Taylor's. But that man was never there. Taylor's current boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, opened fire thinking it was an intruder. In response, the officers unleashed 32 rounds of bullets and fatally shooting Breonna. But none of the officers are facing criminal charges, which has many civil rights advocates demanding more.
The magic ticket is a legal term that we call probable cause.
Greg Woods is a professor of justice studies at San Jose State University. He says there are several sovereigns who have jurisdiction in this case: local, county, state, and federal. He says it starts with the prosecution.
After the presentation of evidence in a grand jury, only one officer was charged, and that's because the grand jury concluded that there was only probable cause to likely support a conviction for this particular case.
That case is of Officer Brett Hankison. He's standing trial for 3 lower-level felony charges for allegedly firing erratically into Taylor's neighbor's apartment. 2 other officers, Miles Cosgrove, who state investigators believe likely fired the fatal shot, and Jonathan Mattingly, who was injured by a bullet fired by Taylor's boyfriend, are not facing any charges. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who is black, concluded that the use of force by Cosgrove and Mattingly was justified. However, Professor Wood says all 3 could face civil rights violations, though he adds it won't be easy.
But unlike the death of George Floyd, what we have here are no officers in Kentucky who have been charged in the death of Breonna Taylor. And that makes it more difficult to conclude one way or another as to whether or not these particular police officers are therefore responsible for the deprivation of civil rights of Ms. Taylor.
The Taylor family reached a $12 million settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit filed against the city, and a broad series of reforms are already underway. Louisville has since banned the use of no-knock warrants, and Kentucky's governor signed a law limiting such warrants. There's also a federal investigation looking into possible racial biases within the department. Hankison's trial began Friday. If convicted, he faces up to 15 years in prison. I'm Ansar Hassan for Black News Tonight.
The NAACP is asking Attorney General Merrick Garland to bring federal civil rights charges against Jason Van Dyke, the Chicago police officer who shot and killed Laquan McDonald. The shooting happened back in 2014. Van Dyke was responding to a call that someone was breaking into cars when he spotted McDonald walking down the street with a knife. Van Dyke got out of his car shooting at McDonald, and the 17-year-old was shot 16 times, many of the shots coming even after he was already on the ground. Van Dyke is scheduled to be released from prison next month after serving a little more than 3 years behind bars. NAACP's president, Derek Johnson, says Van Dyke should be charged with a federal civil rights violation under Title 18, deprivation of rights under color of law. More than a dozen historically black colleges and universities received bomb threats early Tuesday. Some of the schools received the threats as early as around 3 o'clock in the morning. The schools targeted have released statements shutting down campus operations. As Black History Month makes its start, this marks the 3rd time a group of HBCUs have received bomb threats. According to the New York Times, the FBI released a statement saying that they are working with law enforcement partners to address any potential threats. Today kicks off Black History Month and recognizing the many contributions of African Americans in the country, but not many people know how it came to be. BNC's Janine Donaldson gives us a brief history lesson.
Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who was the second African American to graduate with a PhD in history from Harvard, started the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History in 1915. His mission was indeed to do research on the African American experience in African American history, to try to publicize African American history to as many people as possible.
Dr. Carter Woodson had a mission to publicize Black history to as many people as possible. In 1926, he started Negro History Week.
Schools and colleges and African American organizations celebrated Negro History Week from 1926 to 1976. In 1976, Negro History Week became Black History Month.
In the 1960s, college students demanded Black history courses, and students from Howard and Kent State universities and other schools across the country called for Negro History Week to be month-long.
Woodson was headquartered in Washington, D.C. He taught at Howard, and so Howard University was very instrumental in supporting his efforts to make Negro History Week pretty universal among African Americans. But he also had the support of Black schools, particularly during segregation, Black social fraternal organizations, and Black churches.
Woodson helped launch what is now called the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. The organization urged the federal government to officially observe Blacks' contributions month-long. Declared by President Gerald Ford, Black History Month was officially observed in February of 1976.
The joke is, why did Black people pick the shortest month of the year to celebrate their history? Well, there's a method to the madness.
Negro History Week was started in the second week of February, chosen because it encompassed Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass's birthdays, who Woodson believed were the most important figures in Black history. Marvin Delaney, president of ASALH, says there were also more.
But also the birthdays of W.E.B. Du Bois, Langston Hughes, and a number of other famous African Americans.
In 1986, the first year Martin Luther King Day was celebrated as a national holiday, Congress, in a joint resolution of the House and Senate, designated February as National Black History Month. In Charlotte, I'm Janine Donaldson for BNC.
Be sure to join the conversation. We want to hear from you. Head over to our BNC Instagram and Twitter pages. Let us know how you feel. Also visit our website, bnc.tv, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to check out clips from the show.